we've got 12 exercises, and you can do 1, 2, or 3 rounds, whatever you decide, however much time you have. If you go with just doing 1 round, really push your reps and really push your weights. It's actually going to be a coin flip workout. So you're going to start with a coin. As long as you have 2 sides, pick what's heads and what's tails. And if you flip a heads, it's actually going to be 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. If you flip a tails, it's 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. So really make sure you're picking some weights that are challenging given the amount of rest time that you have. We're going to start off, so it's actually going to be 3 different quad sets. So there's 4 exercises in each set. We're just going to go once through, and then if you want to do a second or a third round, definitely go for it. So we're going to start off with a goblet reverse lunge. So we're going to have our weight here in the goblet position. We're going to take 1 step back, bring that knee down, and push up through that front heel. So that's going to be our goblet reverse lunge. And really just make sure that you're alternating legs during your time so that we're working both sides as equal as possible. Then we're going to move into a single arm 2-point row. So here we are in our split stance. We have the weight in one side, whatever side is the leg is back. We're going to lean forward, and then we're going to row that weight up. So we're going to be here. Make sure that we're hinging a little bit at the hips there, keeping that core tight, really using our legs for good balance, rowing that weight up. From there, we're going to move into a jump squat. So we're going to be feet a little wider than hip width apart. We're going to squat down and a small jump up. So we're just going to keep going for our allotted time. If you don't feel comfortable jumping, you can certainly just do body weight squats. Go a little more quickly if you can to really get that heart rate up. And then we're going to finish this small setup with dead bugs. I'm going to show you a couple options for your dead bugs. So we're going to be lying on a mat. If you'd like to use a weight, grab that. We're lying on our backs. We're going to bring our knees and feet up. We're going to have our hands extended overhead. So one option here, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of a pelvic tilt to make sure our back is flat on the floor, engaging that core. And you can either do both arms and legs straight out with that weight overhead. You can leave your hands overhead here with the weight, and you can do one leg at a time, just extending that down, making sure we're keeping that core engaged throughout the movement. We can also do this with no weight, and we can extend opposite arm, opposite leg, bringing those back to center. You can also just leave your hands overhead and just do one leg at a time as well. So you choose what you feel most comfortable with for your dead bug. From there, we're going to move into our next set. We're going to go with a goblet squat. I'm going to grab my weight again. We're going to hold that chest tight in the goblet position. We're going to do our squat. So feet are a little wider than hip width apart. You might need to turn your toes just slightly out. We're going to be pushing your glutes back, really getting that butt back, sitting down just like you're going to sit in a chair. Chest proud, core engaged. And we're going to do our squats. From there, we're going to move into a single arm dumbbell push press. So we're going to have our dumbbell on one side. We're going to have our feet a little wider than hip width apart. Bring that weight up to shoulder height here. We're going to do just a small squat and really use those legs to help push that weight overhead. So that's going to be our push press. Want to make sure again that we're doing both sides too. So if you can, do a couple reps on one side, then switch. Just make sure that we're keeping everything balanced. We're going to then move into our mountain climber. So we're going to be on the floor here, hands and toes, driving the knee up, doing our climbing. and that'll just be for our allotted work time. And then we're gonna move into a lateral plank walk. So this is gonna be a little challenging. So we're gonna be in our high plank position here, hands and toes. We're gonna take a small step out, bring our other hand and foot in, and that's gonna be our lateral plank walk. And then that's gonna be our second set of exercises. Moving on to our third set, we're gonna do a little bit of arms, a little more core focus too. So we're gonna do a rope or a banded kettlebell bicep curl. I'm gonna show you a couple options for this too, just in case, depending what equipment you have available. If you have a band or a rope, that's a great option for you. Any weighted object with a sturdy handle, so paint can, you could even use a cooler if you have laundry detergent, a milk jug filled with water, anything like that. We're gonna loop the band or the piece of rope through the handle, and then we're gonna bring our arms down, elbows extended, and we're gonna work on curling that weight up. So we can keep our hands a little bit more of like the hammer curl position here, curling that weight up. It's gonna take a little bit more effort to really control the weight so that it's not swinging around too much. Especially if it's on a band, it's gonna be really easy for it to swing around. So that's an option. If you just have a band, you don't have a weighted object, you can step on the band between your feet and then curl just the band up this way as well. So that's an option. If you don't have a band, you could certainly use just your dumbbell or your weighted object to do your curls that way as well. So that's an option. And then we have our tricep kickback. So this, if you have your dumbbell or your weighted object you can firmly hang on to, we're gonna take a step forward with our left foot, dumbbell, weighted object in our right hand, and then our right foot is gonna be extended kind of in that split stance position. And then we're gonna start with the weight at about chest height, and we're just gonna use the tricep to really kick that weight back. So it's really just movement at the elbow. We're not really moving our shoulders a whole lot, kicking that weight back that way. If you don't have a weight to be able to do the kickback, if you have a band, we can do more of like a tricep overhead extension too. So you're gonna step on the band with your right foot, have the band in your right hand, and then what we're gonna do is actually gonna extend that right hand overhead. Again, just using the elbow to move your arm to extend the tricep. So that's another option as well. Then we're gonna do a banded glute kickback. So if you have your band, we're gonna step on it with one foot. We're gonna get down to our hands and knees here. And make sure the band is securely looped kind of right in the arch of your foot. Keep the band between your hands on the floor. And then we're actually just gonna use that one foot and we're just gonna really extend the leg back, using our glute to really kick the weight back, keeping our foot flexed, really focusing on using your glutes to work against the resistance. If you don't have a band, we can certainly do these without the band as well. So again, in that all fours position here, hands and knees, and then we're just gonna be working on extending that leg, keeping our foot flexed, really working that glute that way as well. So that's your glute kickback. And then we're gonna end with a single leg bridge. So we're actually just gonna turn over to our backs, lying with our back flat on the ground. Just a small pelvic tilt just to make sure that we're keeping that back on the ground. And then knees, feet underneath knees. We're gonna bring our hips up, raise one leg, and that's gonna be our single leg bridge. Again, you wanna make sure that you do a couple reps on one side and then alternate to make sure that we're working both sides in your allotted time for your work as well. So those are our 12 exercises.